middle of the grid, as flying away goes the Ducati man. Andrea Dovizioso got an absolute flyer, but who's pushing and shoving down into turn one? Yes, it's the Ducati that finally gets control over it. Marquez being edged out just a little bit.
Vinales pushing through to third. Wow, that's a shocker. There's Crutchlow and Zarco having a bit of a set too.
Here we go.
Sixth.
Down into the braking area. Lorenzo really has looked good in the tricky stuff as well during the course of the weekend. But now, leading this off, Jorge Lorenzo. Would you have bet on it? Karel Abraham, the gentleman, has crashed out already. Disaster for Karel Abraham.
How many races have we seen Lorenzo lead from the start this year? 3 or 4?
Turn 12, now we go. Braking and slowing them down as we get to 11. Every corner after Cavone gets slower and slower and slower until we get to this bottom gear.
Sandwich Marquez.
Marquez all over Lorenzo, looks for the inside line, through the puddles he goes at turn 2. And again, a lot of spray being kicked in the face of the young Spaniard. But it is Lorenzo that's doing the kicking up of the water straight into the face. Dovizioso is doing it. Puddle and the front end just folded from under him.
Petrucci just brutalised Crutchlow.
There he is, and he's about to brutalise Maverick Vinales now into Cavone. That would be pretty spectacular. But a tentative opening session for him, isn't it? Back in 4th place. He's about to get mired by Petrucci for sure.
And we know what Petrucci can do in the wet.
He's got slightly less wingage on here. If you can see, he's got the half wing on the Pramac Ducati. Blasts around the outside of Maverick Vinales, but Vinales keeps it on the brakes. And all the time, these four just staying static. Oh, not this time. Oh, look at that. Definitely in his rhythm. These tyres are going to stay with him as well, Julian. This could be... We've been talking about Jorge Lorenzo throughout the week. Every race meeting, he's got closer to the front. By that I mean time-wise.
48 races.
Let's wait and see what happens first of all. Danilo Petrucci is after Marc Marquez. The way he will help Dovi is to keep Marc honest, you would guess.
I would go with that completely, because Jorge Lorenzo, who absolutely said this, don't talk to me about helping other riders until the last 2 races.
Well, he wants to win.
Of course he does.
Matter. He's paid the big bucks. He's the man that should be winning on Ducati, and now he's getting into the kind of form that he needs to be in. Maverick Vinales a couple of laps earlier.
Has Marc got a problem?
He has.
It's called Danilo. Look, there was a signal to the pit.
They're getting the other bike ready. Jules,
he's got a bike problem. He's going to swap it. He's going to swap it.
Well, let's wait and see. It doesn't look like he's got much of a bike problem. He's got Danilo in front of him now, so Petrucci has gone through into 2nd place on the number. Get to him down in the dirt. Hopefully, yes, he's okay.
That's Lorenzo.
Who took him out?
That's Lorenzo.
Lorenzo stopped on his own because he was miles out in front. So Jorge Lorenzo down as well. So Lorenzo goes down, Crutchlow goes down almost simultaneously.
What happened, Keith?
Let's watch. Oh, that was just as he tapped the throttle in by the look of that. So Lorenz gear 13 is 3rd gear. Then it's the bottom gear, 40 mile an hour, turn 14 right-hander.
Now this is in the Marquez pit. They are hurrying still, but it doesn't. It's a lengthy procedure to change what they are changing.
Well, maybe they had it set up for a dry bike.
Yes.
And that's the question. Maybe it was we couldn't see it. Obviously had tyre warmers on, a bite early on, whereas the carbon brakes, once they get hot you get bite, but you've not got any bite initially. You've got a lot less feel until they get some heat in them, and once they get heat in them they stop and they don't run out of brake. With a steel brake you can overperform and it might run out of brakes on fast hard braking places, but either way I think a steel brake is the option here really. But Marc has
19th or 20th place.
When you think Danny Pedrosa, only 5th in the championship, 148 points for him. Dovi on 183, Marquez on 174, Vinales on 170. Sadly, Valentino Rossi on 157. There are a few people that were wishing that it cannot happen in this race.
It's too late already.
16 and a half laps to go. This track is not going to dry out sufficiently. There's no sun. If we had the kind of weather that had the sun poked through and we start to see steam rising from the tarmac, then maybe. But the number 4, the 04, sorry.
He likes that.
Yes, Andrea Dovizioso. Don't call him number 4, it's 04.
And it does feel like Dovi time, doesn't it? Just to close up. And Marc Marquez, I always think if Marquez has the ammunition...
Oh, look at this.
Behind the front 3, Keith, 8 seconds, and with Miller on his case.
Yeah, Miller's been there for a while though, hasn't he? And Maverick has managed to hold him at bay. But Jumping Jack, remember what he did in Assen?
And he's just closing it. They've got 1.5 seconds over Pirro.
Yeah, that challenge seems to have And we're closing down on Carol Abraham, who's back out there. That is Iannone.
A first lap crasher, Carol, so he's
he's
picked it up and got back out there.
Out are Sam Lowes and Alicia Spargro, of course, the two Aprilia men. You'll see them at the bottom of your left hand.
That's a bad weekend for the factory.
Hector Barbara is out as well, and Jorge Lorenzo, of course. He's dropped it. Oh, Baz again.
Having a second go.
Baz again. That's the aim of the Ducati man, because the further back you push Vinales,
the happier Dovizioso will be.
Well, and Marc Marquez as it happens.
True.
Because those two are out front in the championship.
Cracking ride, though, from a test rider. Was a
Tell you what,
wild card.
That man is worth his weight in gold, considering the work he does.
Yeah, Pramac.
They're not here to just appease the factory,
nope.
But then again, the factory do provide them with their machinery.
And they are a proper satellite team, not a customer team.
So you would have to watch out for that particular bit of political manoeuvring. We'll wait and see. That's towards the end of it. This is Dovi. Love this gearbox. Listen to it. He's the only man capable of doing it. He's got to take the 25 points. There's the man who should have. It is Jorge Lorenzo. He led by a long, long way. A little bit... I think he's happy with himself pretty well this year, actually. He's not a man that's negative in any way. This is a replay of him falling down. So Lorenzo then, slides that he's had, and the fact he was off this morning in these wet conditions. This is similar to how this morning's warm-up was, actually, in water content. I wonder if Marc Marquez would ever consider taking 20 points.
Well, he did in the past.
But when you're this close to Danilo Petrucci, I wonder if you would. And we're going to find out, folks. So much more corner speed in the middle of the corner. The horsepower of the Ducati might drive it forward, but Marc Marquez at this sector has really got some performance. We have 3 laps to go. This is Dovi. We're on board with now. 3rd place for him. This is Maverick Vinales. 4th place for him. Pirro is still behind him, but a long way behind him now. Vinales seems safe in 4th place, but not. He'll try and mug him, Jules. It's the end of the lap that the Honda man closes Petrucci down. It's the end of the lap where the Honda seems to be just with a little bit of an advantage as we get over the line again. 2 laps to go. The penultimate lap then here in Misano.
Resembling a decent weekend. Oh, here comes Marc.
Marc Marquez closing him down. He wants to make that pass. At the last part of this penultimate lap is when Marc Marquez, he might leave it until turn 1. So this is it then. That's 15. On to now. Look how he's lining himself up for this. He's definitely going to go for it at turn number 1. We're on turn 16 now. This is the last lap coming up. Wait for the line. He gets good drive. Looks to the inside. Has it launched a bit too much? Goes to the inside. Yes, he does. Turn 1 as predicted. Slides underneath Petrucci. Holds the line. Petrucci was fast out of here, though. If you remember a bit earlier, that winged Ducati to try and get under him. He doesn't do it. But it's the back straight onto Cavone. Out a little wide, Marc. Pulls it back down again. Danilo almost in 3rd place and let Dovi have 20 points. We'll see whether that particular team orders, even though they're not really the same team, comes into effect.
Well, Dovi's 9 seconds back of them now.
Well, yeah, but he still can hang around for him. He knows where he is. His dashboard will be virtually 12. We come down through the gearbox into the water of 13 now. Just one more right-hander we have to go. A bottom gear right-hander. He covers the line. Danilo Petrucci is no absolute perfection. He will equal on points Andrea Dovizioso. It's Marc Marquez that wins in Misano. Magnificent Marc Marquez in Misano. Takes a well-timed